Hi everyone, how's it going? Captain323 here, and in today's short video, I'm going to show you how to fix one of these primerless automatic choke Briggs and Stratton lawnmowers that simply starts and dies when you pull the rope. As you can see here, it acts like it wants to start, and sometimes it even starts and dies, but it will not continue running. The problem with these Briggs and Strattons is that water and dirt and all sorts of other things get into the bowl here on the carburetor, and they partially or completely restrict the main jet, basically the part of the carburetor where all of the gas flows through, and that prevents the engine from running after it starts. Alright, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is stop the fuel flow from the gas tank to the carburetor so that when we take off the carburetor bowl, the entire contents of the gas tank, which in this case is completely full, do not come running out all over the mower deck. Now some fuel will come out of the carburetor bowl when we remove it, but we can greatly reduce that amount of fuel by simply blocking off the fuel line here. And I use one of these clamps. You can use a pair of vise grips or a zip tie, or whatever you want, but I just clamp that right on there, and that has blocked off our fuel flow, so now only the contents of the carburetor will drain and not the contents of the gas tank. Alright, so now it's time to actually remove the carburetor bolt from the carburetor. On the bottom of the carburetor bowl there is a 1/2 inch nut, which corresponds to our 1/2 inch wrench here, and I prefer to use a ring end wrench because it's easy to put 2 fingers under here like so and hold the wrench against the nut on the carburetor. Now what you want to do is just carefully start undoing the nut, and at some point gas will start to leak out of the carburetor, and that's perfectly normal because we're breaking the seal on the nut. So just want to keep undoing it like this and just continue loosening it. And I think it's to the point now where I can use my fingers. So I'll continue holding up the float bowl, and I'm going to unscrew the jet bolt at the bottom of the carburetor like this. And here's that, as you can see. This is the jet of the carburetor, and I can actually already see dirt clogged in it, so I'm just going to set that to the side. And then we're going to carefully remove the float bowl of the carburetor, and I'm going to put it up here because I'm going to show it to you. Now in this particular lawnmower, our problem is not actually dirt. Our problem is actually water. You might not be able to see it on the camera, but there are 2 different liquids in this bowl. And to make it slightly easier to see, I'm going to dump it out onto here. And you can see the little particles of water floating in the gas. This main jet had a little bit of dirt on it, but really not enough to stop it from running. As you can see, the hole in the jet is still perfectly clear. And I think that the root cause of all of our problems was just that little bit of water in the carburetor bowl. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cleaned this carburetor bowl with compressed air and a little bit of carburetor cleaner. And I've also blown compressed air through the little holes in the little jet screw here just to make sure everything's all cleared out. And you can see light shining through the holes now, as you can see. So we're just going to reassemble the carburetor now. And that's just a matter of putting this bowl back on. And one thing you want to note is you want to make sure that there's a gasket here, and you want to make sure that that's still in place and that hasn't fallen off. And if it has fallen off, simply put it back up here around the sort of rim of the aluminum casting. And we're just going to put the bowl on, and once again I'm going to hold it with my fingers around the air filter chamber here, and I'm going to screw the bottom screw, the jet screw, back into the carburetor. This can be a little bit of a fiddle to sort of thread it in there, but once it's in there, it should start going. There we go. I'm just going to finger tighten it to start with, and then I'm going to snug it up with my ring wrench. Just like that. And last but not least, I'm going to remove the clamp we placed on the fuel line.